We're live.
What's up, H-Town and all around? This time, all around the world. Hey, welcome to the Foxtrot Studios. I am OSG, and with me tonight is a good Foxtrot crew, the dynamic Foxtrot. What's up, bro?
Oh man, it's been forever.
It's been forever.
Literally,
It's been forever.
yeah, it's a slow off season to start, but man, it's all about the World Cup tonight.
We're ready. Marquinho, hold some noodle time. What's up, bro? Long time no see y'all as well.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here. Talk about some World Cup. Obviously, the biggest event in the world coming up in a couple of months, and it's gonna be great to see.
Cesspool, the masked Avenger. What's going on, bro?
Hey, bro, just here. Hey, excited because it looks like we got a good group, but happy to be here tonight. It's been forever, so I'm happy to be back with y'all and pick your brains in the World Cup, see who you guys got.
Hey, so as you heard, World Cup. World Cup is here. World Cup is coming very soon in the summer, and we're here to talk about it. We're going to run through all the groups. We're going to give y'all some predictions. We're going to let y'all know where the games are at. We're going to give you some odds, some betting odds if you want to bet as well. And just hear us out. Have fun. We're here tonight. All right. Y'all ready to get into it? Thank y'all for joining us tonight into the Foxtrot Studios. Let's get right into it. Group friggin' A, man. Group A is ranked eighth. We're gonna go easy, hardest to easiest. So it's gonna be eighth. It's gonna be kind of easy, right? One being the hardest. So Group A is ranked eighth according to FIFA. We're going by FIFA, by the way, not me. This is not me. And Mexico is in that group, leading that group with a plus 8,000. If you're a gambler, plus 8,000. So bet 100 to win what, 8,000 if Mexico wins the World Cup. Cesspool, man. This is your group, bro. When you want to take us through that?
So the pressure on Group A for Mexico is huge, not just because Mexico is a host nation, right? But in that group, you have South Korea, okay? Uh, In that group, you have South Africa, which is an interesting fact, right? So never, ever in the history of World Cup have you had a game from a previous inauguration repeat itself. And so we're gonna have that with Mexico, right? Now, overall for Mexico, the pressure is huge. It's huge. Why? Every single World Cup, they have been eliminated after the second round, right? So what does that mean? That means Mexico gets past the group stages and then they get eliminated. Mexico needs to get past the what it used to be the fifth game. Now they need to get past the sixth game. It looks complicated. If they make it, right? If they make it because they're the biggest favorites, as number one, they can have Scotland. So that's a very accessible game. But then you can play teams like Switzerland, in the round of 16, and that's another accessible path. So it's Mexico. It's in the best interest for them to end up number one. Okay. However, we never know who the fourth seed is going to be for the European side, right? And a lot of people are speculating that it could be Denmark, right? If that's the case, historically speaking, Mexico does not do very well against European teams. We saw that in the last two World Cups. Sweden, they lost. Who was it? Denmark too? I think they lost. They only been able to beat Croatia. So we'll see how Mexico does. There's a lot of variables for them, so it looks very, very, very dark right now. So they just need to get past it at number one. Uh, what do you guys think? Who do you guys got in number one? We have South Africa. We have South Korea. We could have Denmark or Czech,
South
Czech
South Korea
Republic.
is dangerous. South Korea is dangerous and can take that group. So it's going to be tough for Mexico, but we'll see. I think I got Mexico as well. They're taking that group. South Korea, close game when they played each other in the group.
Historically, in the World Cup, though, Mexico has been able to beat South Korea in the past. Against
You
South
have home
Africa,
game
they
as
haven't
well.
done well. Yeah, and it's home advantage. And so, not just that, if they get past the first round, they'll have home advantage in the Azteca and the Chivas Stadium for the round of 32.
Accessible. What is the schedule for Group A?
Oh, let me look it up
Still
for
has
you.
all games in Mexico, right?
Yeah, all of the games are going to be in Mexico. So Mexico can have the opportunity to play up to five games at home, all of them back to back. Yeah.
What else, guys? Do y'all think that Mexico can hold that group, or is Korea become an upset and win that group, or will it be 1-2, or will somebody else come into that group? South Africa make a run, one of the qualifiers.
It's tough for sure. And the one thing that I want to say about Mexico, and I can kind of just, I should say sentiment, I suppose, the fact that Mexico is in a pickle, you could say, and
Hmm.
they still have to sort out their the national team situation and consistency more than anything. Because of course, if they qualify as hosts, and it's a matter of determining if they're actually going to be able to contend against international teams. A big, particularly South Korea as a team I'm looking at, only because they're actually one of the better teams in Asia. And South Africa, even though they're not as great as they were like back in, like you could say 2010 or in the mid 2010s, even they could still pose a challenge. This is a World Cup either way. The national teams going into this tournament are going to be good, regardless of how you put it out. So it's on Mexico now.
Mark,
I
what do you think of Group A, Mark?
Yeah, Group A is a little tricky. Obviously, Mexico has the advantages of being able to play all these games in Mexico. Like Cesspool mentioned, South Korea I think is a very difficult opponent. Obviously, not knowing who the
the
European
fourth
team
seed.
coming in might be. But possibly, what it looks of it, it could be a team like Denmark, which Denmark is a very very tough team. So depending on which of those comes in, I think Mexico has a tough time. I don't think Mexico is going in as strong as it would like to be. I think there's a lot of question marks as far as who's going to be scoring the goals. Obviously, we know like Raul Jimenez has had like a little bit of a renaissance, but obviously they're more. How much can you just rely on one person to carry the goal load? He needs help along that strong point. And obviously, players like Edson Alvarez, who is like their captain and their big player that comes out of Europe, is going to be a key component to this. Obviously, spearheading the defense. But I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I do think Mexico does come out of the group stages. Now the thing is whether they qualify as one or two or a top third seed. I can see them, to be honest, be any other three. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna go a little bit against the grain from everybody here, and I'm gonna say South Korea wins the group along, and then the playoff team, and then Mexico comes out as one of the top third place teams.
Hey, it wouldn't surprise me, Mark. I mean, on paper, South Korea has the better players, and they have been
One
historically the
minute.
more consistent nation.
And just not to cut you off, but like I mean, just South Korea, like the Asian teams, South Korea and Japan, all those teams and stuff, they're really disciplined and they're really hard to rattle. Those guys, where regardless of whether or not they have the
Yeah.
proper talent or talented enough, those guys know how to play like a team, and they will keep going until the last whistle ends. So
Yeah, I think they're doing what Mexico used to do very well, which is play as a collective. And I think those teams are just mastering that on top of having individual pieces, like Son. So, my opinion, yeah, man, I still think Mexico will take it. South Korea will be a close second if they don't tie, maybe. And if Mexico wins it with South Korea, they're probably by one goal. But I think that game is going to be key. I think with South Africa, I think Mexico has the edge. And when it comes against Denmark, that could be the black horse. Denmark could be the black horse in the group and could potentially eliminate Mexico if they beat them.
All right, there you go, y'all. Group A, Mexico is a consistent. South Korea could pull it off. 1 or 2 for sure. Maybe Mexico makes it to 3, according to Mark. So that's a good one. We'll have to quote that and throw that up on the TikTok and let y'all see. All right, Group B, ranked 7th hardest group with Canada hosting. And I think I understand the 7th hardest group with their group that they're listed with. They have a plus 25,000 to win the World Cup. So you're not betting on them unless you really believe on Canada. Group B, Canada's group. Take it on. Got Switzerland in that group, right?
Yes. So it's Canada, obviously hosting the World Cup at their place in between Toronto and Vancouver. And of course, Switzerland is one of the European teams that's going to be in that group, and Qatar. and the last team is still yet to be decided through the European qualifying, playoff qualifying. But it could be either Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, or Bosnia Herzegovina. Uh, Italy, of course, it's in a mess of its own for the past couple of years because they've been like extremely inconsistent. Like their players have been like not in top form when it comes to national team play. But of course, the two teams I wanted to highlight here, of course, is the main host Canada. Canada, the best team in Concacaf. Like there's no ifs, ands, and buts right now because at their full strength, they're like almost unbeatable in Concacaf. Of course, like Tejan Buchanan, Alfonso Davies, like
Mhm.
it's just like a
Eustáquio.
very deep team with a very good coach in Jesse Marsh that have been very good in international play, especially when it comes to the confederation itself, and of course going deep in Copa America, the last edition a couple years ago at this point. But of course, in the last World Cup, they've been very disappointing. They lost all their games, and they didn't like show out in the international stage. Of course, them hosting the World Cup, it could be a change of scenery. Of course, they're gonna have the home crowd behind them in the group stage games, but it kind of comes down to that the type of like team they need to field out there because they're gonna be facing like one of the tougher teams. Of course, Switzerland being one of them, which I believe they're gonna be topping the group. Switzerland, they're not a bad team at all. Like they've been very consistent in the Euros, in the World Cup. They've also been very consistent, and they're at the right on the right day, like they could win their games and they're gonna be making past the group. So that's why I think they're gonna be coming out top. And second place, honestly, it's gonna come down to first of all the last European team that's gonna be coming out. I feel like I'm like especially Wales. I feel like if they come into the group and they perform very well, particularly how they did in the last Euros. I feel like they could be coming out of second place. Like that's unless if Canada show out, and I feel like they have a good shot. But I think like if either Italy or Wales make it to the World Cup, I feel like either one of them is going to be winning second place. If not, I think Canada has a good shot of making it to second place. And if by any miracle they're able to top the group, I feel like that's a big win for Canada, especially like heading into the knockout stage because I believe if they win first, they're gonna be well, if they get second place in Group B, they're going to be facing the second best team. Well, the second best team of Group B is going to be against the second best team of Group A, and I think the best team of Group B. I still have to check it out, but like honestly, like for them, it's going to be a matter of winning all their games no matter what, and I feel like they have a good shot, like at home. But
So
I still
Canada
have
has what, 3 home games? Where?
so one is going to be Toronto, and the last two are going to be in Vancouver.
All in Canada though, so they have that home field advantage, hopefully, or for them,
Yes.
hopefully.
No, yeah, and so the first one's gonna be in Toronto, and that's gonna be against the second European team that's gonna come out of the playoff, and the last two being at the BC Place in Vancouver. The first one on June 18th against Qatar, and June 24th against Switzerland. So that third game is gonna be insane, by the way, because I feel like that could determine the winner of the group.
So that group is out of whack, and who knows who's going to get first and second in that group. I don't know if
Yeah.
either one of y'all want to chime in real quick on that group, but that group, good luck, Betty.
Yeah,
No.
I think Switzerland is a strong contender to win that group. Obviously, Canada having the home field with playing all games in Canada is going to be a strong look for them. And obviously, if you have their European players and Alfonso Davies and Kyle Larin and Jonathan David step up and really carry that team. That team can go a long way. Them being the best overall team in CONCACAF. Obviously, they haven't showed it as far as lifting up lifting up silverware, but overall, we can tell that Canada is I think is a step higher than what Mexico and USA are at currently. But like I said, it all depends on their European talent with Alfonso Davies, Jonathan David, Kyle Laren, and all those guys, and Buchanan as well. Those guys can get on a roll and score goals and really make it hard on the defense and press. And with Jesse March having a lot of experience abroad and stuff like that as well, they have the components to make a nice little run. Like I said, Switzerland is going to be the bump on the road, and obviously they're a tough team. So, and then obviously depending on the playoff team, you mentioned Wales. Wales is a great squad with a lot of great players that play in the Premier League. Obviously, they're a little bit of on a turnover from their previous iteration, which had Bale and all those great players prior. But like these European clubs, these European nations are battle tested. They fight. They play each other all the time, and they're not scared to go against anybody.
Yeah, Cespo, what do you want to add to that group?
I mean, to be quite fair, it is very achievable for Canada if Wales ends up in the group as Canada being number one. Just because Canada is in better form, out of the three host nations. And like Andres was saying, Canada does have the talent. However, more realistically speaking, if Italy ends up being there, I can see Italy ending up on top of the group and Canada being a close second. I can definitely see Canada being better than Switzerland. And about Qatar, uh, that's a toss up, to be honest. It just depends what side of the bed Canada woke up on. Canada can sometimes, yeah, Canada can give you great games, but then they play a very well team, a team that pressures you, and they just get disorganized. So I feel more like Canada can be a second place. A lot of people out there are putting them already in third place, no matter who the European side is, and which I think is ridiculous. I think Canada deserves a little bit of respect out of CONCACAF, and rightfully, I call it in second place. And Italy, if Italy ends up in on top of that group, they're for sure going to be number one.
All right, well, that's one way to look at that group. That group's going to be very tough, man, and they're seventh hardest. I think they should be a lot lower just because those teams are so equal with each other. All four of those teams are so equal with each other, and I think you could bet on any of those teams winning that group. All right, we got to move on.
Qatar's a lower
Group
side,
C, the fifth fifth hardest group, and Mark's got this group with Brazil. And if you want to bet on Brazil, you got a plus 800. And Morocco, who was a good bet, or not a good bet, but who still was a surprisingly good bet last World Cup, is a plus 6,600. Mark, take us through Group C.
Yeah, so Group C being the first complete group as far as all the teams are announced and we all know who's going to play and everybody. This is, you mentioned it being the fifth hardest group. I think that this is one of the groups that's going to have one of its third place teams advance because of how tightly knit this competition will be on this group. Obviously, Haiti is going to be the punching bag of the group, with all due respect to the Haitian nation. But obviously, congratulations to them to making it to the World Cup, and that's a great achievement in itself. But obviously,
Pico in the World Cup.
But obviously, we're talking about Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland here. And Brazil's names carries a lot of weight. And obviously them being the only 5-time champions, and obviously all the great talent that comes from Brazil and all the big names that play with them. But they're not coming in as strong as we would like them to see them. Obviously, Carlos Ancelotti has just barely got on the job with them, and he still has a couple of more matches before the World Cup to get those guys in line. But obviously, the talent there is bar none. You can go name by name, and Brazil has the top of the top talent, in the world, and could be one of those, obviously, at the end of the day, lifting the World Cup if everything goes right for those guys. But obviously, in my opinion, the World in Group C, Brazil comes out at number one, and it's going to be basically a battle between Scotland and Morocco. And Scotland has a nice amount of players and a good tight knit team. Players like Scott Maternity, who plays at Napoli, who won the Serie A Player of the Year. Players like Andy Robertson, who's the left back for Liverpool, who's one of the top defenders in the Premier League and stuff like that. Kieran Tierney for the Arsenal fans out there, obviously we know a lot about him, and John McGlynn, who plays for Aston Villa, and he's a good midfielder for the Villains and Aston Villa as well. So a lot of players that come with a lot of experience. I think obviously this group is going to be tough, but I think Brazil comes out on top. In my opinion, I think Morocco comes out second because Morocco has had an amazing path to qualifying to the World Cup. They're honestly they're like one of the dark horses to lift it up, and then obviously I think Scotland's going to be one of those top third place teams to carry on to the knockout round. And obviously, as far as match days, I mean, I only highlight the big matches. Which the first big match would be June 13th, which is Brazil versus Monaco and New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, and then the next match would be June 19th between Scotland and Morocco, which I think that's going to be the biggest one at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. And then obviously the last one of the big matches is Brazil with Scotland, and that's going to be in Miami on June 24th. So, like I said, that group is going to all those matches. I expect them all to be great. Like I said, I think it just depends on who takes advantage of their game against Haiti and who can put in the most goals against the Haitians.
How far can Brazil going out of your group and pass into the knockouts?
I mean, look, to be honest, I mean, Brazil has no reason to fear anybody as far as talent goes. You know, the thing about this iteration of the Brazilian team is just that they haven't seemed to click. You know, they haven't clicked. They seem to be kind of all playing for themselves instead of that Jogo Bonito that we're so used to in the early 2000s, late 90s, right? And until they can get that situated, obviously you have a great coach in Carlos Ancelotti who can make that happen. And if he does, I mean, sky's the limit for Brazil. Brazil can get their 6th star if they can get all that stuff patched away and done up. You know, so it's high ceiling, but also it also could be a disaster. But we'll see.
We'll definitely see. They make it out of group, they'll be coming to Houston for that first round. So we'll definitely see. All right, moving on. Oh, sorry, excuse me, Andreas and Cespo. Anything y'all want to add into that group C, Brazil? I think I'm kind of with Mark. It's gonna finish just like he kind of said it. Scotland and Morocco are gonna fight for second place, and then the other team gets third place, and then we're at. So I concur.
I have an argument to
Let's hear it.
say that Morocco can actually be number one.
They could.
Brazil.
Brazil got to be Brazil.
Morocco has the talent to be number one. I mean, for sure.
And the form is really what we're looking at. Because talent-wise, we cannot ever doubt Brazil. Brazil has, like you said, one of the top talents.
No, for sure. But
form-wise, Morocco is better.
No, yeah, for sure. Obviously, up to this point, Morocco has had an amazing run to qualifying to the World Cup, and Brazil has kind of stumbled in there. But at the same time, the games are still half a year away. So I mean, you still have enough time to pick up your quality.
Correct.
But if we're going by on the paper, what's on paper, Brazil should clearly be number one. But we'll see what happens again.
Nay or no nay? That's a question I got for you, Mark.
I mean, look, to be honest, it's kind of like the Cristiano Ronaldo to Portugal thing, right? And I have that group later on, and I'll speak on that later on. But obviously, Brazil seems to play different with Neymar on the pitch. Neymar is that last, to be honest, like kind of last string from the old Jogo Bonito days, and and the team seems motivated to want to win for him. To win
the last bearer.
Yeah, he's the last of the Mohicans, honestly. And to be honest, like I said, getting Neymar there. I mean, I would love to see Neymar at the World Cup. Especially if he ends up playing in Houston and stuff like that. But do I see him as a full-time starter, especially with the injury that he's going on right now, the surgery he's going to have right now? No, but if he's a 20 to 25 minute sub that can come and change the game at the end. Hey, that might be something interesting.
All right, Andres, thoughts on that group as well? Is Brazil taking
Morocco,
it?
I mean, Morocco finished the last World Cup in 3rd place. But of course, Brazil, they're coming in as the second best team in CONMEBOL. This group is gonna be, I feel like it's gonna be insane, particularly with all the teams all together. But Morocco, Brazil, man, that game's gonna be absolutely magical. I cannot wait to watch that game.
So Morocco reminds me of that Turkey from 2002 that made it to the semifinals.
Could be, but they've had a good run, as Mark said. So Hey, question I want to ask y'all too that you can answer in your other segments later. Western Conference or Western Hemisphere, will it make a difference for European teams coming over here? We know it makes a difference when Western Hemisphere teams go over there and European teams seem to dominate. All right, moving on to Group D, USA or USA, USA, USA. All right, man. So everybody's excited about this. It's going to be 100% a demand. Win the group no matter what, no questions asked, or it's an epic failure, period. I don't care if you slim out, make it out, or second or third or whatever. You better win this friggin' group. Win this group. United States, Paraguay, Australia, and then, of course, Slovenia, Turkey, Romania, and Kosovo are going to fight for it. I think it's going to be between Romania and Turkey right there. Betting odds, what is it? What is it right here? 44. Jeez. 44,000. 4,000 plus 4,000. All right. Don't bet on USA anyway. Sorry, it was plus 8,000. Made it worse. Plus 8,000. Don't bet on USA, but FIFA rankings 14, Australia 26, Paraguay 39, and a yet to come in and figure out what they're going to do, and they're going to fight for it, which is good for them. I think that helps them to come in as a playoff team, and you're coming into the World Cup as a slacker, and you're getting to play some good teams because we're just going to be playing exhibitions from here and there, and I think we know one game, but who knows what kind of preparation we're going to take. But it's all going to be behind Captain America with USA and Mr. Pulisic. Will Mr. Pulisic go off? I think everybody's in agreement he's going to go off. He's tearing it up for Milan right now, to where he's having a good string right now. He's having good form. So hopefully whatever happened before is over with, and we're moving in, and Pulisic's going to come in and just put up the numbers and put USA up, win the group easily. McKinney, Musa, and Adams will control the midfield. The back line, I'm okay with. We'll work on it, but the striker for USA, who is that going to be, man? Who is that going to be? There's still a fight. If it ends up being Pepe, I'm forfeiting. I give up. We're not scoring goals
that's what I
from the
was gonna
striker
say.
position.
You know,
Sometimes he fits, though. Mark, well, go ahead, Mark. What do you got to say? Because Pepe must have drawn something out.
no, I mean, look, Ricardo Pepe, obviously we know him from his FC Dallas days and all this stuff, and obviously him being with PSG right now, he did score against Atletico Madrid in Champions League today, so give him that, and all that good stuff. So I mean, he is growing into age. I mean, we got to remember that Pepe is 22 years old, a young buck still. If that somebody's got to correct me on the age. But I mean, obviously, I think we're all hoping for Balogun to do really well at Monaco. I'm sorry. And score in League One. Obviously we know what he was capable of doing, during his time, during the short stint that he had at the U.S. national team before the injury, and he was blowing it up. We thought we finally found our long-awaited striker. Then the injuries kind of backed him up a little bit. So obviously, hopefully by that time he's come back into full form, and we can see what happens with that. As far as Pulisic, man, Pulisic's move to Milan, it was, I mean, that's the best thing that could have ever happened for his career. Honestly, he's been dominating Serie A. Obviously, Milan being in first place in Serie A as well is a good look for him. Did a great job first season, is doing a great job this season as well. Obviously, Captain America is going to be needed to take USA and help them get past this group because, like I said, Paraguay is a very tough combo team. And then if you get a team like Turkey with Adar Guler and Yildiz, that Turkish team is a tough team, and I think they are the likely team that ends up in that playoff spot.
Right,
so,
I agree.
It could be a tough go for USA if Turkey ends up being that fourth team. So, but we'll see.
Hey, I'm with you. And we played Paraguay. We played Australia a couple of months ago in friendlies here already, and not with our best team, not with their best team as well. So kind of know each other. But like you said, Turkey could be that team. Romania could be a tough team coming from Middle Europe that comes in and distinguishes. Real quick before I go to Andreas and Cesspool here, just in USA, June 12th at SoFi, which is LA. And then the next one, where the heck are they at? Jesus, you against Australia on the June 19th, up in Seattle, and then they're going to finish off back in LA on June 25th. So look forward to those games, man. If you're going out West Coast and you want to catch USA, I want to see y'all on Instagram or wherever we follow each other, and I want to see y'all out there at USA. I won't be out far West Coast. I'm gonna hang around Houston as much as possible, but Andreas, man, this group USA, are we getting out easily? Are we getting out with a little bit of a fight, like Mark is kind of insinuating? Not kind of, he is, and it should be. It's the World Cup.
It's not gonna be easy, man. Like,
No,
what I can tell you for sure is that USA have a much better team with the Pochettino, especially in the last few friendlies. It looks like he figured out the formula of what works and what could potentially be the trick, especially hosting the World Cup in your country for the first time since forever ago. A much different team and a much different level, which is good for the
Mhm.
US. They definitely have the players to go far, but they have to prove it. Australia's not going to be an easy team. Whoever the European team is going to be, like, is not going to be easy. And man, that game, the one that I'm seeing more than anything, that game against Paraguay is also going to be tough. Like, it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be like a game, like a defensive game or like a defensive performance altogether for the U.S. to contain themselves because these teams are gonna be looking out for those cracks against them, and the U.S. can definitely pull it off, but it's not gonna be easy, man. It's not gonna be a given. So they have to bring in their 100%, no matter what.
that's well. How you feel in the group?
It's winnable, like Andres said, but let's not forget some of these European teams that are going to qualify from the playoffs. It's not because they're not good enough. It's just that there were just two good teams in there, and only one
Yeah,
could make it. And this is the case in Turkey.
one minute.
Turkey's a very
Oh yeah,
Turkey's a strong team. But if the U.S. keeps playing the way they're playing, they're starting to catch steam very, very rapidly too. And that was the impressive couple of wins they got in the last few friendlies they had. And so they're making a very strong argument for them to be favored to win the group. I can see them doing so. And Paraguay, it's kind of the black horse in that group. Paraguay to me seems like they're going to be a very gritty team. The U.S. is going to have to take charge in that game, but at the same time, like Andres said, be defensive because Paraguay is going to play the counters. Paraguay is going to hit you. They're going to be physical. So that's gonna be a question of how much wear and tear can you take in the group stages because those teams are not easy. They're very aggressive. They're very gritty. They're very difficult. And worst of all is how much wear and tear is that extra game going to put on you now that you have to go through an extra stage, you know?
Yeah, and
that's it.
just to kind of reiterate what OSG said earlier, I am insinuating that USA might not make it out the group, because it's tough. Turkey is a very 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 tough opponent, and like OSG mentioned, it's not the reason that they're in playoffs is not because they don't have the quality to make it straight through. Is that there's so much competition in UEFA that that this you can't bring all European clubs to the
Hmm.
World Cup. You got to give it opportunity everywhere else in the world. But Turkey is one of those clubs that can make a good run, and obviously Paraguay. I think Paraguay with Julio and Ciso, who plays for Brian at the moment, and Diego Gomez. Both of those guys can carry Paraguay offensively, and then obviously, I'm sorry, Australia is not a pushover either. They might end up last in the group, but I think Australia is gonna make one of those wins turn into a draw or maybe even a loss, a 1-0 loss, where they speak a lot and they derail one of those teams, and that's the reason why that team doesn't qualify to the next round. So the Socceroos are not a team to be pushed over. They're not Haiti.
They have had impressive wins in the past. Let's not forget about that. I think
Right.
against England, yeah, and a couple of World Cups ago. So Australia it's one of those teams that could be okay. I'm out, but I'm still gonna screw your day.
And great segue. It's the fourth hardest group ranked by FIFA as far as the groups are going too. So fourth hardest group. That's a tough group for USA to fight with, and not everybody's exactly confident with USA, but we move, and we move on. The Group E, ranked 11th hardest of all the groups. So not very confident in this group, which it should be very paper. But Germany is the lead of this group with a plus 1200 for the World Cup. Win the World Cup as far as gambling, if you're a gambler. FIFA ranking number 9. Tessel will take us through Germany's group. Group
That
number E. Sorry, letter E.
I mean, does it really look easy on paper for Germany the way they've been playing the last couple of World Cups? I mean,
That's
you
why
got
we're doing this.
Ecuador,
You tell us, bro.
you got Ecuador, you got Ivory Coast. Neither one of them are pushovers. Ecuador had an amazing run in their qualifiers, and Ivory Coast had an amazing run as well. Now, with that being said, if we're looking at the group, you would think Curacao is a punching bag. They're debutants here. We don't know what to expect from them for sure. I expect every single team to use them as a punching bag, just like Haiti and Mark's group. However, we don't know what could happen with Curacao. Maybe they could tie Germany. Germany has dropped the ball against Mexico in the past. They haven't had a very good run in the last two World Cups per se. So it's a redemption. Naturally, though, it's a very easy group for them on paper. Ivory Coast, I can see them being second, or Ecuador. It's going to be a very close. It really depends on that game against Curacao, and Curacao is just here for three and out. To be quite fair with you, with all due respect to them, but Curacao is playing with a bunch of foreigners. Curacao only has one player in their team that actually was Curacao born. It is a small nation, but they qualified. They left countries like, well, let's not see who left out for CONCACAF because some people are gonna get hurt. But they're they're just here to enjoy the tournament. In my eyes, I don't see them. I don't see them even sneaking in as one of the third best teams. I can
Mhm.
see Ivory Coast being the third, one of
Tessel,
the
will
third
their
best to
entire
qualify.
population come over to
Uh,
the United? Will their entire population come over to the United States to watch them play?
we could get a few planes, and in about maybe four trips, bring everybody. Yeah, they could. Yeah, and we could actually spread the whole population into for them to enjoy each group can enjoy a game. We can split them comfortably into three
Mhm.
groups, and they'll fit in the stadiums. Tell me,
I
guys, what do
think
you guys think? What do you guys think? I mean,
Just
obviously,
to
I think Germany will take it.
I think this group is one of the easiest groups to call. Honestly, I think it's between Germany and Ecuador. Obviously, I think like what Cespo mentioned about the Germans in the past couple of World Cups has been obviously a transitional period for German football where they're getting away from players like Mueller, and things like that, and transitioning over to younger players like Musiala and Gnabry and stuff like that. So I think this German club is gonna surprise a lot of people with their youth and their abilities. I do think that they're going to come out of this group as leader. Ecuador is a strong South American team. They have a lot of good players on that club that play European football and all that good stuff. So I do believe that they will advance as well, and they're going to be a tough team to play in the knockout rounds because you got players like Moises Caicedo, Pedri Hancapi, and players like that are going to make it tough for those guys. Whoever gets them, obviously. Ivory Coast is usually a strong African nation. They're in a bit of a transitional period right now. So they're not. I don't expect them to do too much. Could they possibly qualify as one of those third place teams? Maybe, but I don't know. It's because there's a lot of third place teams and other groups that I think are superior to them than they are right now. And obviously, like Curacao, obviously, congratulations to those guys. Making it to the World Cup for the first time in their nation's history. But obviously, it's baby steps with that group, and obviously, I think that's the punching bag of this group for this for that variation. So,
Andreas, you agree?
I agree. And the game to watch, of course, is going to be Germany Ecuador. Like, regardless of how you put it, I feel like that game is going to be very entertaining. And him and Ecuador, like, if they pull it off, they can finish top of the group. Like, if everything goes for them. But I still think Germany's going to finish top of the group and Ecuador is second place. Like Mark said earlier, like, Ecuador like had a pretty insane World Cup qualifying campaign, and they they definitely have a shot of beating Germany at the right circumstances. It's more so than Germany. Like even though they're not as tough as they've been in like in past World Cups, I still think they're gonna be creating some damage. They do have some good players. They're gonna be a lot of young blood too. So it's gonna be a matter of consistency more than anything. And but man, Ecuador, I'm watching them in this group.
And it looks like Germany, Ecuador at the third game of the group play, if I'm correct, which means they both could be 2-0 going into that third game, and then they got to turn around and go straight into the round of 32, which is tough. Some teams want to be able to relax, right?
Yeah.
I think the game in the group, the more exciting game in the group, I think is gonna be Ivory Coast Ecuador
Ivory
because
Coast throwing in. All right. All right. We'll see. I mean, it is your group,
Well,
it's
man.
your world. So we'll see if Ivory Coast can bust in and see how far they can go. Are they second or are they third? Or does
they're third.
Germany falter? All right. All right. Here we go. Moving on. Group F. Andreas, man, you got the tough one, bro. You got the tough one. This one is ranked as the hardest group. So we're going to call it the group of death. Even though you were up to 48 teams, I don't think it's right to call it the group of death anymore. It might be the group of stranglehold or whatever. But you've got Netherlands as the top of that group with a plus 2,000 for you gamblers betting for Netherlands to win the World Cup. Andreas, take us through Group F.
This group is insane because obviously you just mentioned Netherlands and Japan, and even though it has Tunisia, like the second European team or the third European team, like could be either Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, or Albania. So we could be looking at a group that, like in between the European teams, anything can go.
Poland, bro.
Although the one thing for me that I've been trying to debate in this group is like who's gonna finish first, because Japan has been absolutely insane, not just in Asia but in previous World Cups. Like in the last one, I feel like they could have gone the distance, but they have like an issue with in the knockout stage where they come up in some of the games, but unfortunately they just like fall short for like the silliest circumstances. The Netherlands, of course, they've made it to World Cup finals in the past, but they never win, man. They never win. They have such an amazing team. Like they make it past the group stage. They make it deep past the knockout stages, but kind of like Japan, they fall short. They fall short, man. And for the Netherlands, for me, it doesn't make any sense because they have such an insane team. They're very stacked. But I looked at them against Japan, man. That game between them is gonna be insane. But like even whoever like qualifies like in between the four teams in the European qualifying playoff phase, it's gonna be an insane group. And Tunisia, like it's like I've seen them before in the Euros and whenever they qualify for the World Cups, and I don't think like they're a big of a deal now. But man, in between those four teams, like and whoever qualifies, it's gonna be insane. But if I have to pick who's gonna finish first in the group, I'm gonna pick Japan, and I feel like it's gonna be my hot take because the Netherlands, like I said, even though they're very talented, Japan every single time in the group stage, you see them play, they know how to figure your team out. Like they figure you out, they execute, and they're very hard to break defensively. So I think Japan finishes first and Netherlands second, and finishing third, it could be a combination of Poland or Ukraine. I feel like if I have to pick one of the teams that have to qualify, it will have to be Poland. So I think Poland finishes third here.
Yeah, I think what Andres is going by with the hot take of Japan winning the group is not so much of a hot take because of what I mentioned earlier. I think Japan is one of those is one of those nations that just have a unity about them that they don't go down to the last whistle is blown. Right?
Yeah.
They gave obviously in the previous World Cup they went up against Spain, gave Spain a hard time. They went up against they went up against somebody else. I can't remember right now. They gave them a hard. Oh, it was Germany. They gave them a hard time as well. And it was they were, to be honest, those were one of the most compelling games of the prior World Cup, and just to give credit, I mean Japan does have a lot of a lot of players that do play high level European football, and they do, succeed a lot in those leagues. As far as the Netherlands, obviously the Netherlands, you can run off names, and you're thinking like, why wouldn't the Netherlands finish first in the group? They can. They can. I mean, you have Van Dijk, you have, Memphis Depay, you have just, I mean, I can't think of them all right now, but I mean, they just have a bunch of players.
Van Persie.
Yeah, but
Berto,
but obviously, but
They wish
obviously,
to have Van Persie. Yeah, they wish.
yeah, but obviously, Belgium's golden generation has passed them, and they're transitioning on to younger players as well. So that's really one of the good reasons why I have to agree with Andres, and I do see Japan finishing first in this group, with Netherlands coming second. I'm sorry, and then obviously if Poland qualifies, I mean with Lewandowski, you never know. Lewandowski carries that nation by himself. With Matt Cash. Excuse me. So it could be a tough one. I do see this group being one of the groups to send 3 teams to the knockout round. So we'll see
for
what happens.
sure.
That's crazy.
Oof.
Seth, well, what do you think of that group, man?
Oh no, Tunisia's out. I don't know. They shouldn't even go. Yeah, no.
So
I mean,
they're
I'm not.
finishing fourth then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and it's gonna be I think the game right there to watch is gonna be Netherlands and Japan. One of
Yeah.
those two guys is gonna take the group. And it just comes down to whether
And they
the
play first.
Netherlands can deal with Japan's quickness, because Japan is very quick, and the Netherlands is a team that is not very comfortable in the counterattacks. So uh, that to me is the most attractive game in the whole group. But I could still see the Netherlands though taking it the number one. I'll still pick the Netherlands, and Japan second place, and Poland is my pick to go on and be number three.
Andreas, where's that game at? Netherlands versus Japan.
So Netherlands against Japan. It's gonna be in.
I
Let's
think it's in
see.
Dallas.
Dallas. Yes.
Ooh, so I don't. So and Netherlands has games. All right, so the Netherlands should travel well. The Japan will travel well, so that'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting game. They, like I said, they play first in the group, so they'll get to fight each other, and then maybe beat up the other 2 teams and try to make it through together with each other. But we'll see what happens there, man. So that's a good group. That is a tough freaking group, and it's yeah, I think y'all just proved it that it's up for grabs. Netherlands does
Yeah,
not have it. Japan looks like to be the favorite of the group. Tunisia doesn't seem like to belong, and you could probably pick 3 of the 4 playoff teams to probably finish before Tunisia. All right. Let's move on. Group, is that what a G? A low
Yes.
rate group, ranked 10th out of 12, so kind of an easy group. It's Belgium's group, a plus 40, what is that? Oh, no, sorry, plus 4,000. Plus 4,000 to win the World Cup. Mark, you've got group, Jesus Christ, G, I already forgot in 2 seconds, with Belgium.
Yeah, Group G is not much to speak of. I mean, obviously the 2 heavy hitters are Belgium and Egypt in this group. Iran and New Zealand are the other 2. No disrespect to those 2 countries. Congratulations to them for making the World Cup as well. But I think obviously this is a battle between Egypt and Belgium, and both of those teams face off each other on June 15th in Seattle. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but obviously Belgium is the stronger team. Players like Jeremy Doku, Leonardo Trossard, and obviously one of the best goalkeepers of our generation right now, and Courtois. So that they have the players capable to win this group and make a nice little run. Egypt obviously they're going to be held down by Mohamed Salah and Marmoush, who are 2 players who are playing in the Premier League right now and playing at a high level in the Premier League and for Man City and Liverpool respectfully. But like OSG said, this is the 10th. I guess the 10th toughest group of the nations. I mean, it's basically Belgium and Egypt, and who's going to finish first and second. In my opinion, I think Belgium wins it. Egypt comes in second. So I think Iran and New Zealand. I think obviously between those 2, I think New Zealand probably goes third and Iran finishes last. But I mean, at the end of the day, this group is going to be Belgium and Egypt, and just who goes first and who goes second.
So Mark, quick question. Iran is ranked 20th by FIFA
Excuse
rankings,
me.
and Egypt is ranked 34th, which is a big differential. What is Iran looking like wrong on the paperwork for you? How because they I've seen them play well before in previous cup, and I can't remember. I just remember well, but not remember well. Sorry. Uh, but Iran, the FIFA is the FIFA ranking misconstrued.
Well, I mean, with all those nations like Iran, Qatar, Iraq and stuff like that, they're focusing a lot on building their football programs, right? So they're doing a lot more as far as making sure that they're getting growing players of their obviously of their ilk to get them in and to focus more as far as having camps and training camps and up the level of those nations, right? And obviously they're also doing things as far as nationalizing players and things of that nature to bring them over at this moment to help you know
Okay.
process of you make it quicker for them to process and stuff like that and make their team a little bit more competitive. But I mean, but with all due respect to them, again, against Belgium and Egypt, who's a former, I think they were not this edition, but
AFC.
the last edition,
Yeah.
they were KFC champions or whatever. They know how to play with each other and all that good stuff. And they've been this group of Egyptians have been with each other for the last. I think for the last 5 6 years. So this group knows how to win together. And obviously, when you have a strong leader like Mohamed Salah that can carry you and can score the goals that you need, it's a good recipe to move on.
Yep. Cecil, what do you want to add with that group? I don't know.
I
Iran,
don't.
man,
Iran
they
is not
they
even in the
could.
question, in my opinion. To be
No.
honest with you, no, 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 because they have been on the rise in the last two World Cups. I mean, they beat Wales in the last World Cup, and in 2018 they beat who they beat Morocco, right? But in my opinion, Egypt has made a faster rise in their level, in their quality. Just by Marmoush and Salah alone, they can
Right.
make the difference. They can break the lock tie between the two nations. It's not even close at this point. I think Egypt has a better talent, but be quite fair with you, um, it's gonna be between them two. Egypt is gonna take it in second place. Belgium, if Belgium doesn't come with their A game, they can actually lose against Egypt, and it's a toss up. And to be quite fair, I see New Zealand beating Iran, and New Zealand could be number three. New Zealand has actually
Mm,
New Zealand has actually played better. Hey, I can see. Mark my words. If Iran makes it on over New Zealand, I'll lose a bet, whatever I want, a challenge. But I think New Zealand. I'm not sure that New Zealand would beat Iran.
Kiwi
They have the
Mark,
power,
better.
Kiwi
Mark,
Yes.
power.
I don't think we get a third place team in this group. But
No,
Andreas,
no, 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 no,
what do
no, no.
you
I don't
no?
think so. I don't think so either. So
nah.
Okay,
that's why I said it's
Yeah.
between depending on who ends up first and second between this group.
Andreas, what's your take on this group?
Man, the second is pretty much going to be all about second place in between Iran and Egypt, and I think Egypt has this like edge only because of their experience in the international stage. Iran, like, they're still a pretty good team. I feel like lately, especially when it comes to competition outside of Asia, they've been a little bit slouchy. I feel like they could have been done a much better job in the last World Cup, but unfortunately they didn't make it. And it, they've been like heavyweights in Asia though. Like they finished a third place in the last two Asian Cups, so they are a pretty good team. But I feel like Egypt has that edge. And man, I hate seeing Belgium win because everyone keeps saying Belgium is so great, Belgium is awesome, Belgium is this. But after the group stage, man, they just collapse. But
Yeah,
they're gonna win the group, unfortunately.
I have
We
to agree
call
with
them
that as
One
well.
minute.
we call them Pechos Frios.
Excuse me, Belgium reminds me of like Mexico in a way where they have they have
Pecho Frio, Pecho Frio.
they're expected to do big things, but when it comes time to do it, they don't do it. And that's the unfortunate thing. And going back to Iran and the like that whole area of Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Qatar. I mean, they're really focusing on their football programs. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe not the next World Cup, but maybe 2034 one of those come, they make a nice long run into maybe a fourth or third place or whatever. I'm not gonna say that they'll lift the World Cup, but I'm saying that they can make a good run in a couple of World Cups from now.
All right. Well, there y'all go. Time to move on to what is this group now? Little letters over here. Group
Hey,
8, man. Group H with the Spanish. The Spanish. I think that's the FIFA ranking number 1 right now. Is that right? Yeah.
yep,
And plus 450 to win the World Cup. Their group is ranked 9th as far as difficulty. So not very difficult, but you got Spain, you have Uruguay, you have KSA. So, man, Uruguay will be the good one. And Uruguay is a plus 6,500 to win the World Cup, 16th ranked in the FIFA. That'll be a good one. That is also the last game of this group play for Spain versus Uruguay. So, again, I think that's kind of unfortunate for good teams that the last game being the best game of the group before. I don't know. It could be a benefit too because now you're playing well and you go to your next game and you're right into it instead of like question yourself and playing that third game and I don't know what I want to do and just like, oh, we won the group and let's just chill out. But Spain is freaking loaded, dude. Loaded, and I know Mark is gonna probably back me up on this as far as players, and he's been doing a great job with players left and right across the world. Mark needs to do his own damn show as far as it goes when it calls the across the world. But me for Man City, we got Rodri. Hopefully, is going to be a part of that centerpiece right there for Spain. I think he's good and maybe not injured. Gavi, Pedri, Yamal, Alvaro Morato, Nico Williams are some of the players that are going to, I assume, are going to be a mainstay and a part of that core for Spain and push. But I kind of want to ask because I think Spain's going to win this group easily. I think they're going to beat Uruguay. Uruguay might push them and they'll take second. I don't know if there'll be a third place team out of this group. I'll start with you, Mark. This is easy. Spain. What is Spain's Achilles heel?
With all the respect, Spain is my World Cup favorite. Spain is the nation I'm backing to win this World Cup. Obviously, obviously I would love to see Argentina go back to back, but if I'm being realistic here, Spain is the nation to beat. You mentioned a lot of great names. The Spain can field 2 teams at any given day. They have great players. Their main weakness, to be honest, is at striker. But even at striker, Ferran Torres is having a great year with Barcelona, and Mikel Ozobaya is having a great year with Sociedad. And then obviously you have Mikel Merino, who's converting himself into a prime striker with Arsenal with all their injuries at striker at Arsenal. So you have 3 capable bodies that can play that number 9 for it being its so-called weakest position. But you go down the list, Yamin Yamal, Nico Williams, Pedri, Gavi. If he comes in, Balde, you got David Raya and Unai Simon fighting for that number 1 spot at goalkeeper. And those 2 are big time goalkeepers. Zubamendi is one of the best number 6s, to be honest, in my opinion, maybe the best number 6 right now because Rodri is obviously out. But obviously, like I said, Spain can field 2 World Cup caliber teams on the pitch at any given time, and they're my favorites to win the World Cup.
An easy group to come out of. Andreas, how do you feel about this group? Is anybody can compete with Spain in this group before they get out of it?
man, like it's gonna be tough to play against Spain because, like Mark said, they can field several teams, and even Saudi Arabia or Uruguay, they're gonna have a hard time in beating them up. If they have the perfect game, they have a shot. But teams left and right have been struggling against Spain, particularly in the European qualifying, and of course the last Euros where they won like almost easily. Like they're just an absolutely incredible team, and they're definitely in contention to win the World Cup. Even they're in a great group to just make a statement, and you'll just go off from there. Like they have the luxury of rotating teams against Saudi Arabia, in between Uruguay and Saudi Arabia because they can. and they still have you're gonna have a good performance against either one of those teams. It's more so about who's gonna be second because, like as good as Uruguay is, like Saudi Arabia, man, they're no slouch. They're absolutely no slouch. Like they're
They
extremely
beat
good
the World Cup
in
champion last time.
yeah. They were the only team to beat Argentina in the last World Cup.
That's
Mhm.
true. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so like they're actually a good team. So it's gonna come down to like who's gonna finish second. And uh, like I said, Uruguay they're extremely talented. Like even though feeling in the last qualifying they didn't do as good as the job as I thought they're gonna do. Like they have a shot still either way. And look, OBSI, it's just insane. But man, Saudi Arabia is a team to watch in this group as well.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Same thoughts.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just to go back to real quick 1 second.
Now go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, to be honest, like I said, this group with Spain, I think Spain is its own worst enemy here. Because obviously you had the group in the middle top. I mean, obviously we know Uruguay is a tough team, but Uruguay is in a transitional period as well. Uruguay is not the same Uruguay we know of old. And but Spain, like I said, if Spain remains focused, like I said, I think it's going to be very hard for them not to come out with winning the World Cup this year. But obviously, like again, could they have a lackluster first game like Argentina did in 2022, where they had a wake up call for Saudi Arabia? For sure, and that might be what they need. So, but at the end of the day, I think Spain, is completely heads above everybody in this group.
Agree. Cesspool, what you got?
I think this is one of those more traditional group formats, like back in the 32 team format that we had, because we had two teams that were clearly slated to make it through, and two teams that were you kind of they're out. Uh, well, I think Uruguay is gonna take second. They have the quality, they have players, they just don't have the spark. They won't beat Spain. Their players are great players that play in very many European clubs. I mean, this guy plays in Liverpool. I forget his name right now. Um, you know who I mean. They're always bashing him at Liverpool,
Oh no, he
but
doesn't play. He doesn't
when
play
it
in
comes
Liverpool
to
anymore. He plays in Saudi Arabia now.
yeah,
Darwin Nunez.
so that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
Yeah,
Darwin
Darwin.
Darwin.
Nunez. So he plays. He would show up. He shows up for his national team at occasions, right? So I don't think they'll make it. They'll make it above Spain. Spain is gonna take that group easily, and I think because uh, there may be a possibility because of who's in number four right there that we can have Saudi Arabia come out as one of the top number threes. They're gonna have a field day. Uh, you know, and they're gonna be that. I think that goal differential is what's gonna help them advance to number three. Uh,
All right. Well, that's
because
Spain. That's Spain, and
yeah,
that's
I
that
think.
group. That's going to be a somewhat easy group. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. We got group what? Is that I? Group I.
I
Man, obviously I wear glasses, bro. I'm deaf. The freaking letters are small. It's my own handwriting too. But you know what? I just jotted down and let's go through it. But Group I, Cesspool's last group,
I don't know.
France.
I
France,
think
FIFA
I think that's
ranking
the
number
best group,
3.
bro.
What's up?
That's the best group. I'm gonna tell you why in a second. Tell me. Give me the
That
FIFA
group.
facts.
Hey, this group is ranked six as far as the hardest. So right in the middle as far as the group. We got France plus 750 if you're trying to bet on them to win the World Cup. Cesspool will take us through the group with France. Will they surrender?
I gotta catch it. I love that group so much. I got a catchy name for it,
Uh oh.
bro. I call it Superstars and Ghosts of the Past. Think about this. You got France, you got Senegal, you got Norway, okay? And the potential fourth team could be Iraq, Bolivia, one of those guys. I personally believe the fourth seed is going to be Iraq. You know, Iraq has been playing very well. They're a better team than Bolivia. Iraq has to beat their playoff first. Let me see. Let me look up who they're playing in their playoff. Oh, Suriname. So
Yeah,
Iraq has to play against Suriname. They're gonna beat Suriname. After they beat Suriname, I think they can take care of Bolivia. Um, with that being said, though, the game of the group right there, it's going to have to be hands down France Norway. Haaland
yes.
versus Mbappe. Who's gonna take that game? And if Norway can actually get past France or tie, I can see Norway finishing ahead of France in that group. You know, they not very easily, but very closely. And then Senegal will definitely be one of those top number three teams. Senegal has a history, a rich history, and they're always the black horse. Every time they show up, they always manage to scrape a win every time. So I see Senegal being one of those top number threes, and in between Iraq and Bolivia, I just don't see the quality there to even question being number three. What do you guys think? Tell me your thoughts.
Here, go ahead, Andres. What do you got on this group right here, man? Is France? I asked the question successful. I don't think you heard me. Is France going to surrender, or can they compete?
They
Well, the,
Just go about their history.
will surrender. They will surrender against Holland.
well,
I see Norway beating them.
Mm.
that's a hot take, man.
I see
like,
Norway beating.
Holland with a
no,
hat trick.
I
well,
don't know
if
if a
he
hat trick, but
okay, hold on.
come on.
Okay. France is gonna win the group first of all. There's no question about it. But
Right.
that okay, that game against like in between France and Norway, I feel like it's gonna be fun. Like Norway, of course, coming in with a unbeaten. They won all their games in qualifying, and they look much better. The previous cycles haven't been as entertaining or as good as everybody thought, but it looks like it's turning around. They could have a good campaign in the World Cup, so like who knows? It could happen, but look, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to get second place. Uh, there's no question about first place yet. Like if they beat France, Norway can just beat anybody, man. So it's not gonna happen, man.
Hey, you
It's not
never
So
gonna
know.
happen.
Hey, did we not say that about Mexico and Germany? Now Mexicans were like, "Oh yeah, we hope Mexico
Well,
wins," but Mexicans are like, "Oh shit, we're gonna just get okay. We're gonna lose the Germany game. We can win the other two, and we're in, right?"
so
okay, we're
so
talking
It
about
could
France
happen,
here.
bro. It always happens.
yeah.
It always happens. Every time there's a team that disappoints us, and why not? I mean, France, France can be in a jam like Germany did a few years ago when they won the World Cup. What happened to Germany after that? It's,
The
that
the
could
only
happen to
the,
France as well.
the only concern I have with that analogy is that that German team was a way older German team compared to this France team. This French team, you're talking about players like they're in their prime. Dembele, Mbappe, Doué, Saliba, players like that. World class players in every position. The only question mark that I have with this team, with this country, and why I don't place them ahead of Spain to win the World Cup is leadership. I don't know who the true leader is of that team, and it's
Mbappe.
tough because and well, yeah, people say Mbappe because Mbappe is the world star, the star, right? But we all
Well,
forget,
no, he's a
but
captain.
we forget captain's armband is whatever, but
Is he a
but we
leader?
but we, but we forget the 2018 World Cup. That team won because of Griezmann. Not Mbappe scored the goal, sure, but I mean Griezmann was the leader of that team
Yes. Yes.
that catapulted them to winning that World Cup.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Griezmann is going to be a part of this team. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Like I said, this French team, the
He
only thing
retired. He has a fallout with Mbappe.
yeah, the only thing about this French team that lacks that puts them a step behind Spain, and Spain has shown has shown on the pitch why they're superior than France because they have leadership on that team. France, I don't know who the leader is. Everybody wants to say Mbappe. This is that he's the next big star, and sure, Mbappe is going to show his quality on the pitch. But I mean, but then again, it's Mbappe versus X team. It should be France versus whoever, Like I said, obviously we're all looking forward to the Holland versus Mbappe matchup, and that's going to be a great matchup. And the reason why I don't think Norway can sniff France is just that Norway's too top heavy. They have the attackers, they have Odegaard, they
One
have
minute.
Holland, they have Sloreth. They
Just
have
defense. Defense.
but the defense isn't there, and that defense is going to be ran around in circles with the velocity and with the passing and all the stuff that France has up top three with like I said with Dembele and Mbappe and Doe, who are obviously doing coming off a great campaign with PSG winning, lifting up the Champions League, and then obviously Mbappe having a great first season with Real Madrid and goal scoring like crazy with Real Madrid at the moment, as well. So I mean, like I said, in this group, obviously Mbappe versus Holland is going to be the headline, but realistically speaking, France should win this group easily, bar none. Norway should take second, but like I said, we'll see what happens again. Could it be a possibility where Norway does outscore France or whatever if they get caught off guard? Maybe, and it can happen, right? And if it does, then obviously that'll shake everything around, and maybe it'll it'll shake France into a position of thinking like, hey, maybe we're going about this the wrong way, because obviously you can only win with so much talent on the pitch, but you need that chemistry and you need that leadership on the pitch as well to carry you further ahead.
All right, we'll see what France can do to get themselves through to a World Cup final. Who knows what to do? All right, moving on. Group J, the third hardest group. And Mark, you're wearing the jersey, but this isn't your group. Sorry to say. I think you wanted this group, but got to tell you, Argentina ranks second in the FIFA World Cup. If they can win out and Spain can win out, one
Defending
versus
champion.
two
Defending
will
champion.
face each other.
Defending
the-
champion, by the way.
Defending
Yeah.
champion. That is true. Defending champion at a plus 800 to win this World Cup. Andres, take us through Group J in Argentina, the defending world champions, and now a defending MLS Cup champion on their team as well.
Two of them.
Uh,
Two of them.
they,
True.
they have two.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have two of
Two
them,
of
but
them. Yeah,
Rodrigo de
the
Paul
Paul.
and Messi.
That's
Yeah.
true. Paul
There's-
played for 2 games and became a
And-
champion.
there's
I
nothing
know,
new to say
bro.
about Argentina because theirs are still fantastic team built by Lionel Scaloni. Like since the previous World Cup cycle, they're almost unbeatable. They're still insane. They can feel a team with or without Messi, and they're still gonna win the game. And they can even like feel a team without the starters, they're still gonna win the game. And it's not like in this group, of course. It's not a question of who's gonna finish first. Like it's pretty much who's gonna finish second because like Argentina, they can repeat. They can definitely repeat in this tournament. Although I feel like in this virtual tournament, I feel like they're gonna have a much more difficult time because even without Messi, they still have a lot of depth in this team that they can take them all the way. But with all the competition, with all the teams coming in and out, it's gonna be a matter of how they can manage Messi game by game and how they rotate and how effective the squad's gonna be. Because, like I said, it's so that they're capable, but it's gonna be a matter of like how each team is gonna approach Argentina. Because of course, just being the defending champion, everybody's gonna be going against you like really really hard, and like past the group stage, I feel like it's gonna be pretty much like a death match, like in the knockout phase, no matter what, no matter who you face. But man, Argentina, like I said, they can repeat. They can repeat in the right circumstances. And man, Argentina Spain in the final is gonna be insanity if it happens. But it's gonna be an
So
insane
you
game.
have
Don't
what,
forget, Andres.
Algeria
Don't
and
forget.
Austria in their group, who are what 24 and 26 in FIFA ranking. Are no competition for Argentina at all?
But I'll say there's competition, but I wouldn't say like a team that's gonna be challenging them for the top. No, like it's gonna be a match. Like if Austria's in a good day, it's still gonna be a tough game, but they can put some performance. But it's hard for me to see them like lose in the group stage. Honestly, like even if it's like
I
either
mean,
Algeria or
historically,
Austria, yeah.
historically, Argentina struggles a lot against physical teams, and Algeria and Jordan are very physical, but I don't see them posing a real threat, to be honest with you. Algeria has a higher possibility to beat Spain on the Spain, Argentina because of the physical aspect. But Jordan just doesn't have the quality to be as physical and be able to keep up with Argentina. I just don't see that happening. Uh, Argentina, historically though, y'all can agree with me. They start very lazy in the beginning, and little by little they start picking up steam. That's how it was in the last World Cup. That's what it's been throughout the years, and I can see them doing that. But at the end of the day, they're gonna take it. No question about that. But I see Austria being number two, and I don't think we'll get a third place team out of here.
2022 was such a fairy tale for Argentina. Obviously the way it started and obviously the way it ended, it was such a crazy ride. And obviously I think one of the greatest World Cups to ever be played, and especially that final, how that final went with France, and all that good stuff. The great thing I think of that Scoletti and his staff did was to prepare for life after Messi, and they did that really well. Obviously they had a lot of matches where Messi wasn't available due to injury, and those clubs play really well. Those teams play really well against those teams those days. And then obviously you have, when you put Messi on top of it, you add just that much more dynamic to just much more offense to that team. You're obviously, we're not expecting Messi to be defensive in any kind of sense. We're not expecting Messi to do anything else besides run the offense. And the thing about it is that, do I think, is there any competition from this group? Realistically, no. I think Argentina wins this group. I think, in my opinion, Algeria finishes number 2. But with that being said, I do agree with what says for Argentina does have a slow start, and depending on what happens with the first team, with the first match, it can be a lot said. But this time around, they have a bullseye on their head because they are defending champions, so they know that they can't start off slow. So we'll see if it still happens, or if it doesn't, we'll see what happens. But in my opinion, obviously, for Argentina to repeat, I mean, the last repeat World Cup winner was in the '70s with Brazil. So I mean, it's a tough feat, for anybody to do it. And if there's anybody questioning Messi's greatness, and where his place in football is, obviously if he's able to take Argentina on a back-to-back, I mean, there's no denying where his spot would be at the end of this World Cup. But I'm not expecting that. I think there's a lot of great nations ahead of Argentina. I think Argentina.
1 minute.
I think Argentina is obviously top 5, but will they end up repeating? I would be me myself. I'll be surprised, but they are going to make a nice long run.
That's going to be a very,
Just to
very
add to that,
interesting what
yeah.
Argentina can do to continue through that after their group play, expecting them to just handle that group. Y'all say slow start. I don't think there's going to be any competition. Algeria will be the biggest competition, and that's the first game of their group play. So they're going to get them out of the way, and they get to coast by and then move on after that. All right, Mark. A lot to say. Catch your breath, because we're coming right back to you. Group 12. FIFA ranks this the easiest group. So the group of chill. And you've got Portugal with a plus 1,000 to win the World Cup. So why don't you take us through Group 12 and Ronaldo?
So this is obviously, the easiest group. I mean, obviously the plan. I think the team that goes in is Jamaica, over Congo, and over New Caledonia. So obviously, shout out to CONCACAF for getting a team in the World Cup. Is my opinion. I think Jamaica should be the one that makes it in. But with that being said, this group is basically Portugal and Colombia. Obviously with Portugal being heads above everybody, even Colombia. Colombia has had a great World Cup journey, whatever, and stuff like that. And obviously you have a lot of players, especially like a Luis Diaz, a James Rodriguez, and other players as well, that will help Colombia find a way through the group, and then maybe make some noise in the knockout stages. But this is obviously about Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo's last World Cup, possibly, and seeing what happens, and if he can match the feat of his longtime nemesis Messi. A lot of people have thrown out there, would Portugal be a better team without Ronaldo? Would Portugal be a much stronger team without having to worry about falling into, I guess, Ronaldo's shadow or whatever? In my opinion, look, I love CR7. Well, I'm not gonna say I love CR7. I respect the way he gone throughout his career. I respect the training and the discipline he's gone through to put himself in a situation of being mentioned amongst the GOATs of all time in world football. But in my opinion, I think Portugal would be a much greater team without Ronaldo, as far as in the mix. Would it be great to have him coming off the bench the last 20, 25 minutes to make a difference? Yeah, that would be something I would be looking forward to. But obviously, I don't think that's the plan Roberto Martinez and his staff have for CR7. That I think they'd rather have him playing the first 70, and then if they need to swap him out for some for some faster legs, they'll do that. But that being said, I think Portugal has all everything they need to win the World Cup. To me, in my opinion, they're my fourth favorite ahead of Argentina. Uh, Ironically, but that team is stacked. I mean, you have Bruno Fernandez, you have Ruben Diaz, you have obviously CR7, you have Rafael Leao, you have just the list goes on. The list goes on of players who can take over, who can win you a game. And obviously this group is not as strong as the other groups. It's the easiest group, as OSG mentioned. Uh, Colombia versus Portugal will be June 27th in Miami. That that is the last game of the group, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yes.
obviously, by that time, both of those should have already qualified for the knockout, and just be to see who wins the group. And obviously, there's a lot of Colombians in Miami. There's a lot of Colombians in Miami, so it could be a home field advantage for Colombia. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with that. But I mean, but Portugal does have the means and the players to go all the way. But will it be a fairy tale ending for CR7 like it was for Messi in 22? We'll see.
All right, Cesspool, do you agree? Portugal, Colombia, who's going to win that group?
Oh no, no, for sure. Portugal would definitely win it. Close margin, mainly because, like Mark said, I think at this point, CR7 is being put on the field more for the psychological, and of course he does have abilities, but there are players that are just better than him, and I think he's being respected more for what he's bringing psychologically, the more threat that he's always going to be able to do something to win you the game. But I think Portugal's hard stop will come against Argentina in the round of 16s, and I hope we get to see that matchup, But in the group, it's laid out for Portugal. I think it's an easy path for them. The round of 32s is going to be easy for them as well, and it's just the round of 16. That's where they stop. I don't see Colombia having the quality to topple Portugal. Portugal just has star studded. Even if they have players that have not given us full potential, like Joao Felix. Go ahead, Mark.
No, no, I'll mention, like I said prior, that last game in Miami will technically be a home field for Colombia because, like I said, so that could turn it up a little bit. But like I said, I do expect Portugal to win. They have a lot bigger talent, a lot higher
Yeah.
level. But home field in Miami with a stadium full of Colombians, it could be tough.
Hey, it could be tough, and then not to mention Colombia. They came and slapped Mexico around. So I mean,
They
again,
travel. They travel.
And they
yeah.
travel with
So
Colombian
it
coffee, as
happened.
Jeff Strong has said. Andreas, what do you think about that group?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much either Portugal, Colombia, but Portugal's gonna top the group. Like they're in much better shape than in previous competitions. And
Yeah.
like they said, Cristiano may not have like a prominent role like he had in the past, but he's still a mentor to a lot of these players. And whenever he's even on the bench, I feel like his presence like makes his team even greater. Like he is such a legend of the game that like you kind of have to respect the point that he goes the extra mile to break that type of physical limit to like make it to his this World Cup at his age, like past 40. So it's good. Obviously, he's not gonna have the type of role, but Portugal has a team to top the group and go deep into the knockout phase.
All right, man. Well, good group. That was Group K. Let's move on. Group L. This one's ranked second of all the groups. Group L. It's England's group. Croatia's in it. You got England 4th FIFA ranking, Croatia 10th, 550 plus 550 for England to win the World Cup. This is going to be a tough group as the ranking says. You have Ghana and Panama also involved in this group. That's going to be a friggin' tough one, man. But I'm excited for England if they can just put their shit together when it really counts and
No.
just finish, man. Harry Kane is still involved with the team. Crazy, but has he found the penalty kick that was taken? I don't know, man. You got Bellingham, you got Saka, you got Foden and Stones, you have Declan Rice, you have premier, literally premier players playing for England, man, and just they they're getting closer step by step each year, and I'm with them this year, man. I'm with them this year, but they it's nuts what their schedule is. They have to travel, so their traveling schedule might be a disbenefit to them playing in this frigging group, but England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. Man, I'm sorry, Coco, but Panama don't have a chance.
They
Ghana's
got
going to
the
run over you. Croatia's going to they're going to bring some brute. England's just going to try to finesse you. I think they do get out of this group. Croatia will give them a good fight. England's going to be, man, if they just put that last little niche together. Mark, I'm going to come to you last because I know you got a lot to say about this, especially with some Arsenal players being on that team. But Cesspool, I'll start with you, man. Last group, let's go this quick because I'm kind of running out of time now. But man, second closest group to
uh
death.
make it. I'll
Yeah,
make it quick. I'll make it quick. The only one issue I have with England, and I'm gonna say this in Spanish, translated in this pecho frío, right?
Cold
When it
chills.
matters the most, England has a tendency to choke. Yeah, that's the right word,
Choker,
choke.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Croatia could actually beat them, right? But they'd also, especially because it's a first game, it's a very first game. So Croatia has a chance to beat England, and if that happens, then England is going in second place. Panama is not passing at all, and Ghana is not moving from number three. Um, with that being said, though, I think Croatia takes number one, England number two, Ghana number three. Panama, thank you for coming. If Panama can actually, we'll probably get a tie if that against Ghana. Uh, and I wish I could, you know,
all right,
have
good
Panama
stuff.
do more.
Cesspool, reconnect real quick. Andreas, how do you feel about this group and with England? Are they going to take it away?
Not take it away easily because it still has to go through Croatia, and Croatia, they made it to a World Cup final in very recent times, and they are still going deep in almost every World Cup for like the last 4 or 5 cycles. But well, yeah, when it comes to England, man, we kind of know like they like to choke at the worst moments because they have a fantastic team. They can definitely go deep. They definitely made it to European finals before in very recent times too, but they also had a perfect World Cup qualifying. They didn't concede a single goal, and they won all of them. So uh, Thomas Tuchel has a formula for them, which is great. But in the World Cup, anything can happen. Uh,
Anything can
can
happen.
can they finish top of the group?
Hmm.
They can. Can they choke? They can. Uh, can they easily beat Croatia? Not easily, but man, it's up to them. They have to make a statement. They have to stay consistent if they wanna have a case here because it they can definitely finish first, but it's up to them. Croatia is gonna do Croatia things, man. They're gonna park the bus, and if they score a goal, they're gonna shut you down. but, but man,
That's the
like
crazy part.
yeah, England has a
Yeah.
shot, but they have to prove it.
All right, we'll see what they do. I'm rooting for them to get out of the group. Mark, what do you got on England? What's the take?
So I think the story of this group is not necessarily England. I think England is going to win the group hands down. I think a lot of you guys are putting too much are giving Croatia too much credit for what they've done in the past, which has been amazing nonetheless, right? Obviously, but this iteration of Croatia's team is a little bit of a transition. I think they're
Yeah.
much closer to Ghana than them being closer to England, and I wouldn't rule out Panama. To be honest, I know a lot of us want to make fun because obviously we watch Panama, their Concacaf and stuff like that, but I don't think they're going to be the punching bag that we think they are. I think Panama and Ghana are going to fight for that third spot, and to be honest, I want somebody to record this or to have a link to this because I think Panama makes it out the group as a third place team ahead of Ghana. Croatia, obviously, I think is second, and like I said,
Could be.
Ghana, Panama is going to be a great game because, like I said, this group being one of the toughest
Yeah.
group in this World Cup. I think those three are a lot closer to each other than we really think. Like I said, I think England is far ahead above everybody. I think England is going to win the group easily. We're not even talking about them. We're talking about who finished second and then who's going to be one of the third place teams to move on to the knockout rounds. And I think it could be a special opportunity for Panama to make some noise, just like Costa Rica did in the 2012 edition. 2010 edition of the World Cup. It could be one of those kind of runs. And then obviously Ghana being a strong African nation that they've always done really good in the World Cups. They've gone to the knockout rounds here a couple of times in the last couple of editions of the World Cup. So I think that's the storyline of this group. I think England takes it easy, but Croatia, Ghana, and Panama are going to have battles for those two spots to move on.
All right. Sounds good. I'm going to cut my segment on that group short to get ready. All right. So, y'all, I'm going to run through the Dallas and the Houston schedule for you travelers who are going to the World Cup games and maybe want to go check those games out or maybe want to go outside and check the venues out. Edo is going to be friggin' popping. I'm sure Dallas will be popping as well. So, guys, get ready. I'm going to ask y'all who you think is going to win the World Cup and who I think your backup to win that World Cup is going to be. But real quick, I'm going to run through. Dallas is hosting. Houston is hosting. Dallas, June 14th, Netherlands versus Japan. June 17th, England versus Croatia. June 22nd, Argentina versus Australia. So already Netherlands, England, Argentina right off the bat. June 25th, Japan versus a playoff team. It looks like they do get one playoff team. And then June 27th, Jordan versus Argentina. So you get Argentina twice. Mark, you can travel to Dallas twice to see Messi again. I'm pretty sure you've seen Messi already. And then, of course, Dallas gets 4 friggin' playoff games, man. 4 friggin' playoffs, 2 round of 32s. I think that one's a round of 16. And then, of course, they get the semifinal. We'll see who the semifinalist is when that friggin' happens. Dallas gets 9 games, only 1 playoff team, I've all bet. They got the better games than they did again than Houston did. But Houston did get some games. They did get 7 games. So it's fun. So it's good fun. So June 14th, Germany versus Curacao. June 17th, Portugal versus a playoff team. June 20th, Netherlands versus a playoff team. June 23rd, Portugal versus Uzbekistan. Woo! And then June, what is that? June 20. I can't even read my handwriting. Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia. It's the third game of that group. Woo! Another whoop-de-doo. And then we have a round of 32 and a round of 16. The round of 32, just to let y'all know, because that's more predictable, could be Brazil versus Netherlands, Brazil versus Japan. That's if Brazil wins their group. So we're looking forward to that one. Everybody wants Brazil versus Netherlands. So Japan win that group. Brazil win that group. We get Brazil versus Japan in Houston. Real quick, does anybody want to comment on the games in Houston and the games in Dallas?
Nah, man.
Go ahead, Deadpool.
Just me real quick
Yeah.
on that Japan game in Houston. If Mexico ends up in the second place in their group, they could come to Houston and play that against Japan.
Nice. What you got, Andres?
They could play. They could play a playoff here in Houston.
See it.
Everybody's sleeping on Cabo Verde versus Saudi Arabia now.
Yeah, obviously the cream of the crop there is England versus Croatia and Dallas Stadium. So that's going to be a great game. Obviously, we just spoke about that group. And see what happens there with England. It'd be good to see them up close and obviously having the defending champions 2 times in Dallas and obviously having Portugal 2 times in NRG is going to be a great look for the state of Texas.
Cristiano twice at Energy Stadium, man. Insanity.
Y'all protect
Yeah.
yourselves. Wear condoms, guys or girls, please, please, please. All right, y'all. Okay, that's Houston. That's Dallas. Y'all can rewind it if y'all want to hear it again to remind yourselves where the games are. If you're like interested in going to those games, I recommend going. If you're not going to a game inside the stadium, go check out the atmosphere outside the stadium. It's going to be huge. I know Houston is going to build a 13-mile walkabout between Edu and downtown NRG. Of course, it may not all be connected in certain parts, but it's going to be a 13-mile walkabout within Edu. You're going to have plenty to do everywhere, plenty of food to stop, plenty of water to have. So you're not going to die in between locations. So this is going to be friggin' awesome. And I might try it. It's gonna be a friggin' marathon, but we're looking forward to it. But all right, World Cup predictions. You know what? Thumbs up. Flip flunk check. Let's go first. Who's gonna win the World Cup? Who's your backup to win the World Cup?
First one, Spain, for sure. That's my strongest one. And then my second one, uh, I'm very torn between Germany and France, but I have to go with Germany.
All right. Who was the second one? Germany or France? Which one was it?
No, so my first one, Spain, and then my second one, I was torn between France and Germany, so I went with Germany.
Okay. Sounds good. Andreas, what you got? Who's you're I know we're all I think we all have a consensus here. Say it though.
Man, I was debating this
Venezuela.
for so long, but don't joke about that, man. No, 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 no. Don't get me angry. No, 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 no. That's a whole another podcast episode. But
I love you. I
no,
love
no, I
Count to
love you too.
10.
But okay, I thought about this for very long, man. But I think Spain wins it. Second place or like second choice will be Argentina.
Spain and Argentina. That'd be that if that was the final, that'd be a good damn final too. But Spain or Argentina. All right, Mark, you're one and you're two.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned earlier in the show. I think Spain is my leader to win the World Cup for this season. But I'm gonna go for second place. I'm gonna go England. You know, I think Tuchel is one of those coaches that does really well in tournaments. And obviously, you have a lot of leadership with Harry Kane and players like that, and then you have a good mixture of players in their prime with Bellingham, Saka, Declan Rice. Obviously the back line is amazing. The goalkeeping is where I have a little bit of worries, but we'll see what happens with that one. But I think England can make a good run.
Hey man,
Yeah.
not to ride on your boat, but I'm saying the same friggin' thing. All right, so all four of us were on top with Spain as winning the World Cup. So y'all heard it here, Foxtrot Studios, Foxtrot Crew. Spain has just won the 2026 World Cup, and we're not even there yet. So congratulations, Spain. Now y'all better do it. But my 1A is England, and my very close 1A is England. And I say very close because I was torn as well. I wanted to pick England. Like you, Mark. I know a lot of these players, and I kind of watch England as well, just because of the players that are in the Premier. And you like watching England play. I like watching Man City women play. I like watching English women play. So kind of like my second country for some reason somehow. But you like watching them play, but 1966 was the last time England won the World Cup against Western Germany. And a guy named Hofstra got a hat trick. They're going to need that to win this World Cup. And I'm hoping they're going to get that. And I'm looking forward to it. But they have a good team. But like I said, when I was talking about in their group, if they just get over that last little hump, this team is going to be a very good team and they're going to win this World Cup. Spain is going to be that team that is going to be difficult
So
to
don't
defeat.
choke.
They probably will most likely going to win, as we had just heard the consensus. 2010 was the last time they beat Netherlands 1-0 in South Africa. Iniesta with that goal in extra time. Also, England had to win in. It had to win in extra time, I believe, as well with the hat trick completing it. But crazy World Cup, man. Mark, go ahead. Got a fact
Always
check?
yeah, no. First and foremost, you're always welcome on my boat, any boat that I'm on. And then secondly, I mean, just obviously, like I said, England is just they're a strong team. Like the real fact that they're not number one contender over Spain. It's just that obviously Spain has shown time and time and again they're the defending Euro champions. They know how to close out the games. They know how to play the games. They know they know how to run you out. England, while they have all the talent in the world, and to be honest, I think they're the most talented team on paper. They just haven't done it, and until they actually do it, that it's coming home thing has been coming home for over 50 years, and it hasn't 60 years now, and hasn't come home. So I mean, eventually it will. Will it be this time around? It would be ironic for the English to win something in America since they never have before. We'll see.
Hey, well, what a time. Hey, I'll give them the trophy. They could take it back with them. We still own everything that was still here. So, hey, all right, y'all. Hey, I want to thank everybody and anybody that listened, those that were in the chat. I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to the chat during a live show when I'm trying to keep up with all my damn notes and trying to read my own handwriting. Shout out to you, Jeff Strong. I do know you were
But
there.
shout out to
What's up?
Strong Opinions. No, shout out to Strong Opinions. He's been active on the chat. He's always there every podcast. So shout out to you, my boy. Share this shit with your friends.
He jumps into every freaking live everywhere. See him on other shows as well, man. Strong Opinions. I like that name. I like that name change, man. I like that name change. But this is the end of the show. This is the World Cup review, the World Cup draw preview, the schedule preview, what we think is going to happen, our predictions. Give us your opinions in the comments. Let us know. Cop a video and reply to us and let us know what you think. Yeah, tell us who is going to win the World Cup. Do you agree with us? Do you want to shout us down on something that maybe we're just completely wrong about? Let us know. Comment. We're not afraid of it. Bring it on. Bring it on. But as I said, we're at the end. So real quick, I got to go through some profiles with some people. Mark, tell people where they can find you, where they need to follow you at.
What's going on, guys? Obviously, you know me as the host of Noodle Time. You can follow me at Chet Segovia. On Twitter. You can obviously send me questions, DM me about anything, guys. If you want to come on the show, or if you want to give me an opinion about the show, all that good stuff, and we can make it happen. But yeah, at Chet Segovia on X and at Noodle Time for the show. Noodle Tiempo. There you go. Tiempo.
Hey, and then also Cesspool, new to the group this year. Welcome him, Miss Cesspool. Welcome into the Dynamic Foxtrot Studios. Welcome into Media Crew, bro. Hey, tell them where they're going to be able to find you this year, bro.
All right, so you're going to be able to find me Twitter, Instagram. I'm about to launch a new YouTube. I lost the old one I had, but it is at Cesspool. It's just like it's written right here on the bottom. Xespool. Again, Instagram and on TikTok, I am Cesspool. So find me there too. Share me, because I am going to start sharing a lot of content from the search from Foxtrot Media. So follow me, like, share. Tell me what you think.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I am OSG, old soccer guy with some underscores in between my names. I don't keep up with Twitter much or Instagram much, but you can find me there. I've got other handles, but you know what? The Dynamic Foxtrot Andreas. Tell us where the people can find us on those main accounts.
Of course, at Dynamic Foxtrot on Twitter, X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. We also have, of course, if you're watching this live, at Foxtrot TV, youtube.com/@DynamicFoxtrot. You're going to find us right here, live streaming. And, man, absolutely insane year coming up, of course, outside of Dynamo Dash. And those, we're going to keep it up with the World Cup, man, next year. So, insanity.
Hey, y'all be ready. Y'all be ready that are listening. There's a Noodle Time coming soon, because Pat is cooking. We just don't know how big the pot he's cooking, and if the spices are any good, or even if the meat is even rotten or what. We don't know. But they're cooking, and Mark is stirring the pot. So y'all keep an eye out. Noodle Time will be coming up soon. But hey, I want to thank y'all. Y'all smell it. Y'all hear it. Y'all seen it. I hope y'all are with us. We're going to see y'all soon. Mark, Cesspool, the Dynamic Foxtrot, Andreas. Good to talk to y'all. Thank y'all for coming in tonight. Thank y'all for listening, everybody. Well, Fox is out. H is up. World Cup's coming.
World
Oh,
Cup.
Go.
yeah.
Go. See y'all in
World
Edo.
Cup.